Hello everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and I welcome you back to my channel. We are continuing on with this grungy fabric cover journal that we started. If you saw the last video, I was telling you how you put this together, and so now I have put mine together with the layers that I had told you about. And if you haven't seen that video, then you need to go back and take a look if you want to make this same cover. So also, I didn't stitch online because my setup is not where I can actually do that, but I just did wonky stitch all the way around. You can see, and I had all the layers laid together. That last video told you what sizes and all. And then I just started in the middle and went around and around and around. And that's what we come up with here. Now, the thing I need to do next is, let me get this other one that I have made. So I made this one, probably a little more than a year ago, I guess. And so I want to do a similar look to this. And so what I need to do next is I need to make these little tears, because this is a tattered and torn, been around a long time kind of journal that I'm going to say a housewife, you know, back in the 30s or 40s and up through the years. She made this journal, and then she just filled it with things that she liked, things that she wanted to remember, you know, whatever it might be. So now we need to make it tattered inside, and I'm going to use my seam ripper to do that. And you just take the seam ripper and you just make some tears, and then you just open it up. And I tried, now that went all the way to the batting on that, but that's okay. What I try to do, which I didn't do on that one, so I've got to not dig quite as far, but if you will look at this, there is a patterned patterned fabric underneath there, and that's what I want to show through. So you really want to just grab the top. I went too far there. You just want to grab the top layer there, just like that, and I just have a plain piece under there. I didn't do patterned one under this one because I just didn't have anything that I wanted to use. So I'm just gonna do some rips as we go along here, just in various different places, various different sizes, and that's how you make that grungy. So if you do a pattern underneath there, which I just did a solid color, which is just a little bit darker. If you can see that, it's just a little bit darker. You probably can see it right here better. It's just a little bit darker than the top piece. And I just used a piece of sheeting for that because I had it, and, you know. So anyway, so there I went through both of those, and that's okay. That just makes it a little bit more ragged, because this is supposed to be a grungy junky, old-fashioned. Somebody just put it together because they wanted something to keep what I call their paper junk drawer. So this is like a junk drawer journal to keep all the little bits and pieces of things that you run across, you find, you want to keep, you think's cute, whatever it is. So we're gonna make this just a little more splits in it, and you don't have to do this. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to do this. See, here we have some of the cheesecloth showing through, which I was hoping would happen. I don't know if you can see it right there, which is one of the layers that we talked about. And you can do as many or as little or no tears. That is completely up to you. But I just want mine to look kind of worn and ragged. That's why I did. That's why my edges are kind of worn and ragged. I wanted them to be that way. And you can do yours. You can make yours exactly like this, and you can make your edges neat and fold them over so that they're not tattered and torn, and that's okay too. This is just what I'm doing. So, and if you wanted to make a neater sewing around it, that's okay. This is, to me, someone who doesn't necessarily quilt or doesn't necessarily sew very well or want to sew. And so they just, or they do, but they just didn't want to take the time to make it pristine. They just wanted to just put something together. That's why we have the ragged edges. They didn't want to do a whole lot of messing around with it. They just wanted it to be something they could grab, make real quick, put together leftover pieces of, you know, of whatever, of ticking. This is mine's a ticking, and I think that's pretty good. I don't know that I need any more. I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. I don't know that I need any more or want any more tears, but you know, whatever. So I didn't do too many, and this one, we'll show you this one again. So I am basing it off, and this one was based off of a tutorial by Donna at I believe it's Donna at Paston Pages. She calls them abandoned journals because same principle. It's like somebody made this and then, you know, it's been left in a house and maybe abandoned by its owner. Maybe they got sick, you know, or they moved and forgot to get it because it was tucked away somewhere. And so it's now in my hands, or it will be when I get done with it, but then it can be in your hands because I am going to sell this one. I wanted to keep one for myself, which is the one I'm showing you that's already done. That's the one I'm keeping for myself. I'll tell you the reason why, and I'll show you. About to sneeze, hold on. Phew. Excuse me. If I turned it off, I would have to start all over again, so I'm sorry. Okay, so some of the reasons I kept this, let me lift this up a little bit and maybe can show you why some of the reasons I kept this one, this particular one, is because I have a couple of things. Okay, this, for one, this piece of newspaper came to me in a bundle of old papers that I bought from a lady, and it's December 9th, 1947. 1947 is the year my parents got married, and they got married in November of 1947. So that was one of the reasons, and this is pictures of my parents that are tape transfers. And so I was just going to continue, and my weekly readers, we did weekly readers when I was in school, so that is a reminder of that, and I just have that tucked in. So this is just a combination of things that I want to remember. So I think that's good right here for our distressing of the inside of this. So we'll put this back away, and you pull on some of the strings of this to make it just look more tattered and like it's been that way a long time. This is coffee dyed, but not overly so. So you can coffee dye it or you cannot. Some of my papers are coffee dyed. Most of them are. And I'm fixing to show you my papers now. So if you also will notice that inside here, I have a doily, and this goes all the way around. I just used it as the first page in the book. One signature in here, and it's nice and chunky. And so I am doing the same again. And so this is my doily. Now the difference is this one is not as big as the whole page. So I haven't decided whether I want to split it in half, which would make it be a short page, first page like that, or if I want to move it so that, and I'll show you with the papers in just a moment, if I want to move it and fold it like that so that the first page is a full page and the back page would just be a little short page. I haven't decided on that yet. But here's the beginnings of my signature. I think I have all of the pages in here that I want. So if I want to do it as a full page, it would look like this here. It would look like this, and I would have a full page here, and then when I folded it over at the end, I would only have a partial piece. And I'm okay with that. Or I could do it in the center, which would be like this. Would be like that, and then this would be a partial page, and this would be a partial page. So let me know what you think, because I'm not going to do that yet, because that will be after I've gotten everything decorated and I'm about to put it in the journal. Although I do not like, so this is going to lay aside for now. I do not like to do all of my decorating while it's, I do a lot of it, but I do not do all of the embellishing and all of that of my pages not bound in the book. I start off with it not bound in the book. But then as it goes along, it's like I just know that I'm as far as I will go with it being not bound. So then I bind the book and continue to embellish. Now, when I start out, I'm going to not bind it yet because I will want to sew on some pages, and it's easier to do that when it's not bound. But this is, I'm going to flip through here of the pages that I have picked. I just went through my stash of things, and I just picked out papers that I said, oh, that's big enough, let's use that. Or, oh, I like this because it has a different texture or a different whatever. And that's how I picked out my pages. So I have, I have different places that I have different kinds of paper. And I just went to those places to find what I could. Now, the cover of this is red. It's red ticking. So I wanted to concentrate a little bit more toward the red color. This is a scrapbooking paper that I coffee dyed and then tore up. It is from Theodosia, I think, which is from the paper studio at Hobby Lobby. I've had it for a long time, and I've coffee dyed some of those papers. And this is one I like this because it looks like fabric. It looks like it's quilted. I am debating as to whether I want to sew along these fabric lines to make it look like it's quilted. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because if I don't do that, it could look more like wallpaper. So I haven't decided on that. Then I just have this, this is from a planner page. I have a very old, because this is from a autograph book, and this was written in June of 1927, so it's quite old. So this one is actually a little 20s to 40s and beyond, maybe. So I wanted to put that in there because this one is from 1934, so this is a series, and I'm just going to put one page in there. Some digital that I had from somewhere that's coffee dyed. This is an original antique piece. It was already distressed, and it is from the Atlanta Hilton, and a piece of stationery from there. I'm thinking this is from a piece of scrapbooking paper, and I like the fact that this looks like crochet. So I think I'm going to put this here, and I just have it laying here for now. I'm not sure of its placement as of yet, but that's where I think I'm going to put it. And I'm going to make it be like a belly band, but I'm going to glue these two pieces down so it'll be a belly band that won't let it go all the way through. So it's a tuck spot, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it'll have the look of a belly band, so that's going to be there, I think. And then I have, and so this is something I wanted to tell you, that you do not have to use what is necessarily really old. This is not really old, but it looks older. I did ink it a little bit, so it had a little more age to it. I did, and I wanted to show you how to do this, is I did take this page, which is from a 2015 almanac. Okay, so that's a new almanac. 2015 was just, what, 6 years ago, depending on when it came out. But it has the look of the old almanacs. So I was happy to use this as a page. And I liked the fact that it had examples of older kitchen utensils. Wire whisk, nutmeg grater, box grater, ice cream scoop, double-handled chopping knife, hand crank flour sifter, which is right there, which I have one. And then it was tables of measurements over here. This I will probably cover up with something because it's just another article that I didn't get the rest of it. And then same here. This one I may leave open because it's the Memoirs of a Country Doctor. That's kind of neat. But what I did do on these is, because the pages look like this, they are not aged. I did this aging on there. Just wanted to show you how I do that. So all I do is take my ink, and I'm using frayed burlap oxide. If you can, I don't even know if you can see that name. It's so inked up. And I just take it and just put it on another piece of paper so you don't mess up your tabletop. And just scruff it along just to give the edges a little bit of tint to give it a little bit more of an aged look. And then I'm doing it doubled over because the pages are thin, and it is easier to do this if you have thin paper when you have them doubled. So I'm just going to fold this in half, and then again do the same thing on these two sides. And when I go over the edge, I don't want it to have that circle, so I just kind of lift the edge up a little bit until I get over onto the top of the page. And then, so I don't have that, that, because I don't want that. So that's how I managed to escape having that. And you don't have to do a whole lot. You just do a little bit. If you want to make it grungy, if you don't have to do any of this. If you can do all of this without making any of it grungy and having a whole different feel about the thing. But I have found that, I've never been a very flowery. I have some in my Etsy shop that are, spring, more floral kind of things. A little more. I hate to say pristine, but maybe a little more pristine in my shop, and I have made those, and I may still continue to make some like that. But I really like the grungy. I have found that I really like the grungy. I don't know why. I don't know, nostalgia of back in the day, of somebody saving something and making something to save something. So that is this page done. And I think I have others on that I'm going to do, which I won't do online because you don't need to see that more than once. But that just helps blend all of these pages together. So I have this as a paper bag from, I think, Taco Bell. This is coffee dyed tracing paper. This is the cover page of Silas Marner, written by George Eliot, and I believe the copyright is 1900. So, and this was, somebody gave this to somebody in 1901. So that is another really old piece, and I'm not going to do anything to it, but I probably will cover these with, whether it's a pocket, a belly band, or something that you don't necessarily care if you're covering up the writing or not. This is just packing paper that you get in Amazon orders. Then I have, and I'm going to use this. This is actually a Hobby Lobby fabric, where when you go buy fabric, they give you this thing. Tells you how many yards and what it is, and so your total. I'm going to take off the Hobby Lobby part because I don't want it to say Hobby Lobby, because that is also coffee dyed and looks older to me. And so I may put this here, and I didn't want this writing to show because that didn't necessarily look old, nor would this kind of price be what it would be back in the day that I'm wanting to make this look like. So I'm going to put this on here, I think. This is where this is going to go as a flip up. Then this is from another journal, some other kind of journal that I have, coffee dyed. This is another page in a different book, Europe during the latter Middle Ages. And that is just, I liked the writing over here. So, you know, I don't know what I'll do with that yet, if anything. I may not do anything on that page. I don't know. I won't on the page that has the picture. Probably will leave it. Now, I also have a 1937 diary that is a 5-year diary, but this person who owned this diary only wrote in it all of 1937 and part of 1938, and then didn't write it in anymore, which also often happens with diaries that are, you know, more than a couple of years. So this was a 5-year diary, which, you know, you probably had one when you were a kid. I had one when I was a kid. That's something that's coming apart there that I'm going to use. And so I want to put part of that in there. So I'm just doing a page from that. This is just another from some book somewhere. This is a calendar page that's from a spiral book, and I've just crumpled up that page, and I've torn pages. As you've noticed, this was torn. I tore that. It was not already tore. I did that. This is just another coffee dyed paper, which may get torn. It may get franken-paged. I do that sometimes too. Another book. This is just from another book. It says chapter 2. I used, I don't know if I used more than one of these or not. I don't remember. Then this is a digital piece. I don't know where I got it from. Something that was in my stash. And so I just thought I'd crumple that up and put that in here too. It's a money order receipt. Put this page in here crooked because I wanted to. Another more packing paper. This is just another decorative paper I had that's cut. It is cut like that all by itself. I didn't do that. This is from a topography book that I liked this. So I just put that in there and let it be short page. And a short page like this is really easy to add something onto. If you just want to have something that's just kind of hanging off, you just put your little something. And you just glue it on, and then when you flip the page, it's just like that. I like doing that, so that's probably something I might do on this page. I did not coffee dye this rectangle. I think it's rectangle. Yeah, rectangle doily. I'm not sure if I will or not. I might leave it just like it is. And if you will notice that some papers, even if they're old, are a better quality, like this book, not that one, the one that said chapter 2. I should put the one that says chapter 1. I'll need to go see, because this book was in the early 1900s printed as well. But you see how nice this page is? So some books were printed on nice paper, the more expensive books, and some books were not. So some things would be darker and aged more, and some things would not. And some things, like particularly Reader's Digest, the Reader's Digest collection of books that's in one book, those pages, they did not do that on a very good paper, so those pages disintegrate quickly. This is a digital that's from an 1870. It's the cover of an 1870 almanac, and I'm going to the Atlantic Almanac. So I'm just going to put that, probably just glue it straight down on this page. I might make it a pocket. I'm not sure yet, but this is where I think this is going to go on this page. And this is not from a very old book, so it's just something I had left over. So I'm trying to use those things up. This is probably going to glue straight down onto this page. This is from Reader's Digest magazine, but I liked this old looking image with somewhat modern looking housing, or not really modern looking, but the art is more modern looking. So I think I'm going to glue this to this page like that. This is, let's see if there's a date on this. I don't think there is, but it is notes, some woman's notes from for a play, because the first girl, or some sort of pageant, because the first girl says this, the second girl is going to say that, and it looks like it was from a church, maybe a Christmas or something. So I'm going to include that. This is a piece of scrapbooking paper that's been coffee dyed, and I'm probably even just going to leave this little paper house thing where it came from. This is, you know, Hobby Lobby used to have those rolls of paper, and Joann's did too, and that's what this is. And I only had this part that was already coffee dyed. I have some more, but it's not coffee dyed, so I didn't want to have to go to that trouble. So I used the piece that was already coffee dyed, and then I took an envelope that, and I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Took this envelope, collaged on it. It's a junk mail window envelope, left the window in it, just opened it all up to make a page, collaged all over it. I'll put something, you know, I could even put, you know, something like this on this side of it, but I'm not going to. I don't know what I'm going to put yet over there. But I just glued this onto the little part that I had over here to make this be a page. So this will be a page. It's going to be sewn right here, and then this will just be almost like a tip in. This came from a pattern of collars, you know, a sewing pattern of collars. And so I think I'm going to put her so that you can see her through the window. I don't know if I'm going to do that, or if I'm going to have a book that has sketches in it, black and white sketches. Let me get that show. It's right here. A. Wainwright, and this is a 2017 diary, but it has these black and white sketches, and I'm going to, I may use one like this through this window, and maybe put her on this side. I don't know yet, but it's there, so to remind me, that's where I'm thinking that's going to go. And then, so here's the other side of that program, or here's the other side of the wall of the scrapbooking paper. It's a longer piece here, shorter piece over here, and then this is the program notes for whatever program. I'll probably glue something right here, and I may actually even put this here. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might put this here instead of there, and do something else over here. Maybe. We'll see. I'll stick it right there for now. It'll go somewhere, because I'm going to cover up with something these pages from this book that's not that old. Here's the other side of that typography page, and then the other side of the die cut page. And here's all the other side of everything that I just showed you. So there's that. And I can fold that over too if I want to, or just leave it like that. This is the money order receipt. This is the other side of the chapter 2 book. This is, I love the borders on these. I have in the past, and I don't know if I'll do that here, is cut out the writing, leave the border, and then I would free hang a butterfly or something inside there that then you can make it flip around. Don't know if I'm going to do that or not. But I do have from a very old scrapbooking book that I am going to see if I can't use somehow, even if it's just part of it, you know? I don't know. I'm just gonna, I have them, I want to use them, they're old, you know, I want to see what I can do with it. I don't know. May not wind up using it, but we'll see. Now here is the other side of that calendar that I had folded up, and I have just used a circle from a circle punch that I found in the drawer, and I've just made a little place that I'm going to hang something from that. Don't know what that'll be yet. And then here's the other side of those other pages. So this is what my pages look like in the raw, we'll say. And see, I have this folded out, and I probably, whoops, didn't mean to pull that out that far. See, I tore this side. This is that Taco Bell bag. I liked the little black edging on that. And then this side, I just pulled out. And then I like this. I used this in that other journal too that I made that was like this. So I probably will do something to cover up this. And there's the almanac page, which I had to put two of them together because I wanted to pick out the pages I wanted to show. Other side of the Hilton. It's the other side of that digital. The autograph book. Then I have this part of a junk mail envelope. Something came in the mail with it. I've just inked it up. I'm going to make it be a flip out right here. I'm going to leave the please open on there just because I think that's kind of fun. And then I've got some tags in here that I want to do something with. See, this was on that envelope. It says electronic service requested. I'm going to put that in a collage, possibly on this envelope. I don't know yet. So I just had a pre-made tag here that I'm going to use that I've had forever. I will back it with something. Just some other pieces of tags I had. This is from that book I just showed you. So I will either make it be a tag or it may be the picture through the window of the envelope earlier that I collaged on. So that's going to go, I think that's going to go here. I haven't decided that. Nothing is set in stone yet because I don't know. Oh, I forgot to put this back in there. It goes in the middle. I was showing you something in the middle and I forgot to put that back. I was showing you this because this is actually the middle of the book and this goes in here. And this is a tracing paper again. And then this is an envelope from who knows when. It was only 10 cents for this transfer design pattern that also shows you how to, I don't know if the pattern was in there for making this pinafore, but this is what, and maybe it was in here. I don't have what was in here. I just have the envelope. And that's going to go in the center. So you see I'm kind of concentrating on reds and pinks and that sort of thing. Pinks headed toward red. So that I haven't even counted the pages. Let's count them really quick because I'm curious. So I'm going to count everything that I would consider a page. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So I have 30 pages in here. Double that, 60. That's how many leaves I have in here. And then double that, and that's 120. That's how many pages this book is going to have. So it will have 120 pages and will be nice and chunky. And there's going to be lots of places to write, lots of places to put your own things that you might want to keep. I think I have done a video with, it says, now that you have it, or something like that, what do you do with your journal? And I have all these different journals that I have done different things with, and collecting things that I like, cards that people give me, packaging that I like. I love old things, so if I see something old, like in my grandmother's things, I have both of my grandmother's photos and things because my mom had them, and so those kinds of things I like to put in somewhere like this. So that's kind of what this is going to be, and I've done that with something that was more modern looking. But, just like I have the newspaper article from the year my parents got married. I stuck this pin on here because I didn't want to lose it, because I'm going to use it in here somewhere. So that is where we are right now. And so I showed you how I darken the edges of the pages to make, see, I think I want this to be a full page on the front, but I'm not sure. I've showed you how I ink my edges. Yeah, see, that would be cute too. I don't know yet. Y'all tell me what you think. Half page for this, or should I move it over so that there's a whole front page and a partial back page? So it would either look like this, and then on the back side it would look like that, or we do it in the middle of the whole thing, and it is like that on the front, and then it would be like that on the back. That may be how I do it. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know yet, but that's what it's going to look like, and that's what it's going to be like. Now, let me show you some of the other things that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this lace, which is kind of old. I'm going to use some of this fabric, little bits of this fabric to do various things. I've got some bits and pieces of lace. One of the things I wanted to show you is this. I've got this. That's the selvage edge of a piece of fabric. And I am trying to decide, I haven't decided this yet either, is either sew it to the front of this, because I'm going to have that abandoned house or abandoned room or something is going to be on the front of this in a photo or a drawing or something. So I can either put it there, or I can put this in the back, which I think is what I would do if I was going to do that, or I can put it on the page inside. But that's the kind of things that I'm digging up. Also, to give you some other ideas, is this. If you saw my Christmas journal I made this past year, this is some packing tape that came off of a box that was up in my storage room, and it's Target, because you see the Target, the Target bullseye. So it was from a package that was from Target, but this is really old, and it's got the strings in it. It's that old. But I used it in that journal, and it turned out so cute. I just did, like various different things to make a little collage on the edge of a page. It turned out so cute. Something like that you can do. So this is drywall tape, and I have a mesh drywall tape. I will be using some of this tape, and I will be using some of this. I think I'm going to use this as a flip up. I think it goes like this, like that. I will use it as a flip up on a page, I think. I have this, I found this on the street in my walk in my little town, a half a pencil when it doesn't have any lead in it. So I colored the end of it so it looked like it had lead. Can you see that? So I'm going to put that half a pencil in here somewhere. I don't know how. I don't know what. I may just put it on a piece like that, so when you do it out like that, I don't know. I don't know yet how I'm going to use it, but this is going to get put in there. And some of the other, I have a whole box of things. This is just partial of what I have to use. I have taken this box, Nico, or Nicot, I think some people say, peanut butter cookies We have, we get those in bulk. I cut them up because they already had this opening here. They already had this opening. And I am going to collage on this, similar to how Tim Holtz has some small frames that are collaged. And I'm going to do that with these. And I don't know if I'm going to collage both sides and put it back to back, which if I did and then did something in the middle of it, it would work perfectly for a situation where I just had a partial page. And then I could just put one side on it and put the other side on it. And then you would have, and if I needed to tear that off some or make it shorter, I could. And just put something in between that. And that would just be another little page thing. So that's what I'm talking about being junky and grungy. It's just going to kind of be junky, just throw things in, basically just throw things in. So I have taken enough of your time today. So let me know what you think about this process. Oh, I did want to show you that I did take another thing from the almanac. And this is about sassafras. And my mother used to talk about having sassafras tea. She was growing up. That was something they had every spring, was sassafras tea. That was to cleanse your insides. So here is a sassafras tea recipe and a sassafras jelly recipe. This was 2 pages in the book. I glued the 2 pages together because I didn't want what was on the other side. And this was just a 2-page article. So that is going to tuck into a pocket. Then I also have, this says sun signs of the zodiac. I'm going to glue these 2 pages together as well and make it be another pocket insert. And just so you know, this is where it said 2015. So I just blocked that out because this is not necessarily for that year. This is telling you what each sign, what would be the personality of each of these zodiac signs of the person who is in that zodiac sign. Like I'm a Capricorn, which is right there. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do there. I could do that. Well, no, I'll do that next time. Or I may have it done by the time I see you again. So anyway, that's where I'm headed. So the next thing, we're ready to start doing some decorating or some embellishing on the pages. So get your fabric scraps, get your paper scraps, because some of the things I'm going to do with fabric is, let's see, I can show you in this one better. Let's see if I can find some. Is I am going to be folding fabric pieces over, like I've got this little thing is a tab. I'll be doing things like that. This is just something. I'll put these little things on my rusted paper clips. This is a raffle ticket that's not an old one. It's just been coffee dyed. So there's old and new. I try to make things look old that are newer. And there's an uptuck of things right here. And that's, as you can tell, an envelope flap. This is, I'm going to use another one of these. Cigarette, cards. You could get the cards. And this was like you had to get coupons. That was a card in the cigarette pack, and you sent in to get these things. And people would make pillows out of them and that sort of thing. Here, see, I've got this fabric wrapped around right here. That's what I will be doing for some other things like this. And this is an envelope that I've made a pocket out of. This is just an envelope with a letter in it that I bought somewhere. This is a receipt that I just folded up and made a little pocket. So that's, you're just gonna do a piece of old wallpaper. This is fabric over some of that same taco bag. Then I made a belly band out of that, and it's got, so this is the kinds of things that's gonna go. And this was on my walk. This is a old CD, clear CD thing that I found on my walk. I alcohol inked it, and it's on here as kind of a tab thing. So that's what this is. That's where this is headed. I'm going to be using some of this again. I made this. This was, I think I got this idea from Mirage. I can't ever think of the, something Mirage. I can never think of her name. Just some old photos, Sears catalog, old Sears catalog. And that's how this is going to come together. Is something like this. So, thank you for coming along. I hope you will continue to follow along with what we're doing, and maybe make one for yourself. They're really, I mean, I love the way this feels. It's just squishy and fat, but it stays closed. That's what I like about it, because it's fabric. It rolls around. So I love it. This is a zipper pull on here. So anyway, this will have some image on it. I don't know what that will be, but we'll find something. And so I'll see you in the next video, and the next time we'll be doing some embellishments. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.